Well, good evening, and welcome, and thank you for joining me tonight on Talk and Sip Saturday night. Talk and Sip Saturday night. Um, Today is the 23rd of the 11th, 2024, and I hope you're having a good day. Hope you have a good time. Remember to like and share the video as well. I was there trying to clean my glasses a while ago, and for those who do not know, I recently had a cataract operation on my eye. Got rid of the strings going through my eyes. You know, you got these strings going through your eyes, and you're looking, so what is that going through your eyes? And so I had to change my glasses. I don't need the glasses for driving anymore. Now it's like HD high level vision, but I need my glasses to read. Need the glasses to read, so I had to change the glasses. But I want to say that for persons who are maybe contemplating whether or not they should do a cataract operation, it's very important that you do it sooner than later. As that song said, sooner than later, gonna get back to you. You know, it's very important that you do these operation very sooner than later. And I tell you why at the same time. I did a show a few weeks ago with my good doctor friend. He's an ophthalmologist, Dr. David Burton, and we discussed the whole historical factor regarding cataract. And also, one of the things is that a lot of people sometimes push it aside. They talk about like prostate, and they talk about all these different things that people don't want to check these things. Sometimes people fear the answers, what is going to come from these things. And I believe that it is very important that we check ourselves with all these things, with your eyes, cataract, if you have diabetes, make sure you drink a lot of water. When I say water, I mean cool off the sweet stuff. I've got a terrible sweet tooth. I remember during the course of COVID period, where I used to, a lady friend used to bake all the cakes. I told my wife we're gonna go down to get the cake, and it was so easy. Well, easy just get down there to get the cake. And then while in the process of getting the cake, I was finding myself feeling a bit funny. So I went and checked the doctor, and it was during the COVID period. And the doctor said that I was displaying symptoms of diabetes, pre-diabetic. So as a result of that, the Dolly House mashup. So there was no more that I could actually go and have cakes as I used to have as much as possible. Hi, Serenity Garden, how are you doing? I Nasmila joined there on TikTok. Yeah, so that Dolly House totally got mashed up. So there's no way that I could do that anymore. But yeah, and also, what are you drinking? And I always invite persons, because this is Talk and Sip Saturday night. What are you drinking? What do you want to drink or so? Have it on me on the house, wherever you go. I was gonna play a video, but now let's let that video play. But I'm having some little wine as usual, just a little dash of wine and some water. Keeping it very easy and sweet tonight. So what I can say is, it's getting into the Christmas season. People make sure that you're safe and everything like that. But have a glass of wine, which is not bad. I have it like once every week. Don't really into alcohol. I'm a person that I would say can't hold liquor. But sometimes after a very busy day, live restricted for some morning, your live contains themes that some might find uncomfortable and has been restricted. Oh wow, don't know what that is. My live, I guess maybe I mentioned the alcohol. There are certain things that apparently you can't mention on TikTok. Can you hear me on TikTok? Have I been restricted on TikTok? Richard Samuels, Lexi Dark. Let me know if Sweet and Sassy. Let me know if I am restricted on TikTok or anything like that. Let me know if you can hear me. Just give me a thumbs up or so. Yeah. So that's it. So whatever you're drinking, let me know. I'm supposed to have a couple of guests on tonight. Mark Cameron and Ashraf from Jamaica. Going to look at reviewing the elections, the recent election which took place over there in Jamaica, which was very interesting. So without further ado, let me see. There's so many things picking through and stuff like that. You know. So let me know if you're on. Let me know where you're from, and you know, and let's go. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll. Now, who is happy about the? Actually, before I do that, before I go into the elections, before I do that, let me do something else. Miss Miles, thank you for joining. Um, St. Lucia for a few more days. Oh, you're in St. Lucia for a few more days. Oh, fantastic. Awesome. Loud and clear. Awesome. Awesome. Let me just touch on something here. I'm going to put up a picture of a young gentleman. And there is a picture of that young gentleman. It's a very interesting story. That young gentleman there is British. His name is Marcus Fakana. Marcus Fakana. Note that name, Marcus Fakana. Londoner, 18, held in Dubai for having sex with a 17-year-old British girl. Right? Marcus Fakana. That's the picture which I have there. Those who are on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram can see that. Those who are on there is put a picture up there. You can see young chap, 18 years of age, Marcus Fakana, Londoner, 18, held in Dubai for having sex with a 17-year-old British girl. Yeah. And the story goes like this. This 18-year-old Londoner is facing the possibility of years in jail. They say like about 20 years after having sex with a 17-year-old British girl he met in Dubai. That is what campaigners say. Marcus Fakana, which is his name, don't forget the name, Marcus Fakana, because people may have to start to give him some sort of support or so because of what I'm going to be saying. Marcus Fakana was with his family in the UAE when a holiday romance blossomed with a girl who is also from London, and she's now 18. Just to let you know, she is now 18. She was 17 at that time, but now she is 18. Yeah, that's let me just take off the picture there. That's she's now 18. And what transpired in this case here is that they really liked each other, young people go away, you look around, you get involved, it happens naturally. They like each other, but she was secretive with her family because they were strict. He told the detainee in Dubai group, he said, my parents knew about our relationship, but she couldn't tell hers. She had to meet with me without telling them it was to see a boy. Yeah. The girl returned home to the UK, but the pair reportedly hoped to continue the relationship back in the UK. Right? Mr. Fakana said police turned up at his family hotel and took him into custody without explanation. He was held for 3 days and wasn't allowed to call or speak to his parents, according to Detain in Dubai, which campaigned to help people it says have suffered injustice. It says Mr. Fakana was arrested and charged after the girl's mother found their chats and pictures back in the UK and called Dubai police. Why did she call Dubai police? But anyway, she called Dubai police. I don't know if anybody hear about the story and what you can say. Is it? It says Mr. Fakana was arrested. Marcus Fakana, never forget that name, was arrested and charged after the girl's mother found their chat and pictures back in the UK and called Dubai police. Now, Dubai, of course, you see many people are saying, I'm in Dubai. I mean, people on the boats and everything like that. Great place, great holiday hangout. But one of the things about Dubai, which I get to understand, and everybody knows this who read and understand certain basic things, is that in the Middle East, and especially in Dubai, it is well known for strict laws on things such as drugs, alcohol, and sex out of marriage. You know, and I'm going to add to it, and same-sex marriage and same-sex activities. These Middle East countries are very strict on that, so I'm just going to add that one there. And campaigners claim the teenager from Tottenham could face a 20-year jail sentence. Could face a 20-year jail sentence. I'm somewhat optimistic that it may not go that far, because his MP is David Lammy, who is a foreign secretary. And also, there can be some high-level negotiation that should be happening. The girl was just, the thing about it is that the age of consent in Dubai is 18 and is strictly enforced. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you got children or young people or so going to Dubai, going to the Middle East, make sure that they're fully aware of the strictness of their laws. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. The girl was just a few months younger than Marcus, and he didn't know at the time. Since his arrest, she has turned 18, and Marcus would not be facing 20 years in jail. And this is not something that Dubai should be prosecuting. That's one of the campaigners actually say. Same relationship in the UK would not be illegal. Exactly. Right? Dubai public prosecution said in a statement, under the UAE law, the girl is legally classified as a minor. And in accordance with procedures recognized internationally, her mother, being the legal guardian, filed the complaint. Ladies and gentlemen, please like and share the video, and like and subscribe, and come on YouTube, which is Silburn TV. Go on to Silburn TV. Dubai legal system is committed to protecting the rights of all individuals and ensuring impartial, right? Dubai is ensuring impartial judicial proceedings. Mr. McKenna and his family are urging Foreign Secretary David Lammy, their MP, to intervene in the case. Right? He's no longer in a police cell, but he cannot leave the country, it is reported, and says his family is having to pay £2,000 for Airbnb until his case is resolved. Right? The mother they earn a humble living. His mother is a cleaner, and his dad works in a warehouse. He told the detained in Dubai. And they save up for this this one-off holiday, and they now have to use up all their savings as a result. A Foreign Office spokesperson said, "We are supporting a British man in the UAE and are in contact with his family." Yeah. And earlier this year, an Irish cabin crew member was charged with attempted suicide by Dubai authorities. Can you imagine? Charged with attempted suicide and prevented from leaving the UAE. The charges were eventually dropped, and she was allowed home after politicians and the media highlighted the case. So I'm believing, in a sense, that that somehow the campaign and the lobbying from the government to government can resolve this matter, really. And ignorance of the law is an excuse, even though she may be a few months away from being 18, but at the time she was 17. But the big question is this: why did the mother reported it to Dubai? I've been told that the mother is Asian, British Asian, Indian or so. That's what I've been told. Why would she actually report it to Dubai? I mean, she's back in the UK. They're back in the UK. The guy's over there. Apparently, the parents back in the UK. Don't know why it was left there, but why? And this is the whole thing about relationships. As a matter of fact, they'll say wait until you're married or so to get involved sexually and all those sort of things. But that is like old in school days. They say when God was in a khaki trousers or khaki pants or something like that. But it is very interesting. This whole thing. This is very interesting whole thing, and I wouldn't be surprised if there can be and there will be some sort of GoFundMe or whatever to help support this young man while he's over there in Dubai. And I don't know. I don't know if persons go to Dubai. What's your take on going to Dubai? Going to these Middle East countries. What is it like? Are you on eggshells? You're looking to see who you're gonna speak to or so, being very careful at the same time. What is it like? So that's the situation there. I just want to flag up, and anybody want to talk about that. But this gentleman, Marcus Fakana, that's his name. Marcus Fakana. Let us not forget his name, because he's going to need some help. 20 years, 20 years, shouldn't be spending 20 years in Dubai as a result of a consensual relationship, even though she was 17, something which is legal in the UK or so, you know. So that is very important. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Let's talk about that one, and let's go. Let's go. Now, the next bit now is this election which took place in Jamaica. Ladies and gentlemen, there was an election which took place in Jamaica of recent days. This is between, of course, PNP and JLP. One was to deal with the Nigel Clark, the Minister of Finance, was moved to IMF, Deputy Managing Director of IMF. So that was his seat, which became vacant. And also we got Miss Dalrymple. She was a former Speaker of the House. She actually stepped back because of some investigations or so. But what I've been hearing also is that the circumstances why she stepped back still remains the same and remains unresolved. Now, I don't know. That's what I've been told. Somebody could say otherwise than that. I try not to speak as if I got the total facts or so of these things. But it is very concerning that she went ahead and she ran again after she stepped down from the speaker, stepped down from the member of parliament, and that area of southern Trelawney was without any representation for a while. The prime minister, however, assured persons by saying that even though there was not any representation there, but it was still being looked after in that area. I do ask this question before we go into the figures or anything like that as to the outcome of this election. And there was also some minor election. When I say minor election, council election, I think in Clarendon and I think in St. Thomas. But you ask the question is this. There are 8 persons at presently who are being investigated for illicit enrichment. Of the 8, the prime minister is inclusive as one of them. There's 28 bank accounts and all these different things because the IC is unable to certify his thing so far as yet. His statutory declaration is unable to certify it. And I say to myself, if there are 7 other persons who are being investigated for illicit enrichment, and if an election is called for, before, election is due to be called at some point next year before September the 25th or so. Not on this side of the year. But if an election is called and the 7 other persons or even the 8 who is the prime minister, if it is not resolved, then are these 7-8 persons are going to be putting themselves forward again just like that? before the Jamaican people? I don't know. I don't know. I think this is something very interesting, I must say. Mark, good evening. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Yes, yes. How are you? I was Jamaica, man. Where, you know?
Jamaica is great. We just need a new system that
News to
allows
say.
the best of our people to lead. That's all we need. It's
Mm,
not.
mm.
It's not. It's not brain surgery.
Not
I think
brain surgery.
no. If you
Yeah,
have the right people that are in leadership, I mean, if you think about it, when we're in high school, right,
yeah.
we would choose the best person to be our farm captain, and
Monitor and everything like that. Yeah, yeah,
right, because they represent you. You're proud that they're
yeah.
representing you.
Yes.
Our system of governance does not allow the best to lead. It allows the party loyalists to lead, and the people. It seems we're so we're so captivated by these people. We are, and we're still colonized. So we believe that being in their company, it makes us somebody.
Make
And
us
while
something
I was
superficial at the same time. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
While I was waiting backstage, I wrote a poem about it, and I was like, they even use ODs to silence people
Order of
because
distinction.
ah, so if you say they already know that we want to be somebody,
Yeah,
that accolades bestowed on us by the governor general. I call him the general governor.
yeah.
Uh, words are very powerful in a virgin.
Yes, yes.
In America, the school buses are governed. They have a governor on the engine,
Mm,
which means you cannot go above 55 miles an hour.
yes, yes.
So when them said we have a governor general, to me, the governor general, he coming like a governor on an engine
Yeah.
because
You, you
they govern your aspirations to be free.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And ladies and gentlemen, I got Mark Cameron here from up Jamaica, and thank you those who are joining me on Instagram. As I said on TikTok, you need to come on to the YouTube channel or the Facebook in order to see the lovely face of Mark Cameron. You don't need to see my face only.
Don't know about that.
um, when you mentioned about the OD, it is something I was saying with some people the other day that even in the UK, that's what happens. Order of distinction, sorry, OBE, knighthood, and all those sort of things. When they do that on black people, you're silenced. You're silent.
Yes, because
There's no more fighting here.
yeah, because you see, they use that. I mean, they tried the same thing with Barack Obama.
Yeah,
They gave him the Nobel Peace Prize.
right away, right
Right.
away.
But guess what? Thinking it might keep him from doing his wars of choice, but he did the same thing because he had a bigger agenda than a Nobel Peace Prize. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean, the reason why he gave because he was always anti-war. That's why he got elected. Don't
Mm,
let's not forget that. But
mm,
he's had more drone strikes than George Bush.
mm.
He took down Gaddafi. He destabilized Syria. And then he's gonna tell us now that taking out Gaddafi was my biggest mistake. You don't kill a man and then tell him, say, boy, I made a mistake. You go to prison. You go
Mm.
there and kill an innocent man today. You're gonna go to jail for life. But it
Yeah,
seems as if you're a president, you get a free pass. You can kill thousands of people and get a free pass. A free pass. Look at what's going on with Netanyahu from Israel. They've
yeah.
killed they've killed over 43,000 people, right?
Mm,
Um, in an apartheid state. And I looked on some stats on in South Africa.
yeah,
It's about with all the time that they had in South Africa, all the time that apartheid was, around, with all the killings that went down, I think there's only like maybe 6,000 people that were killed during that entire period.
yes.
And and the six is actually kind of I'm being a little bit extravagant here because some of it was because of the political violence between the different groups. But
Yes.
overall, there's about 6,000 this linked to apartheid, and you know how long apartheid went on for in South Africa.
Yeah.
We're talking about less than a year that over 43,000 people have been killed, which means you could fill the national stadium in Jamaica twice to capacity. Just to put in some context and some color to what I'm talking about. They could fill the national stadium in Jamaica twice with the amount of people that were killed. And those that were killed, don't forget now that we have maybe twice as many wounded or
Yes.
injured for life. Because while you may lose a limb or two, you're not considered dead, you're alive, but how do you function?
Yes. So a lot of people being marred at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. And what you're going to have is you have 40,000 dead and thousands more who are upset at all those who supported Israel in their genocide of Gaza, which
Yeah.
means we don't know who might want to take retribution against innocent persons like myself and you flying on an
Mm,
aircraft. Don't
mm.
forget, these people are very patient.
Yes. They look years sitting
Right.
there, silent. Yeah,
So
waiting
we're
for
going
the
to be
time.
we're going to be entering a very dangerous phase because everybody has a friend.
Mm,
And if you have 40,000 people dead, I'm sure those 40,000 people have friends.
mm.
And how many of those are mentally deranged enough to take down an aircraft with 200 or 300 people just to make a point?
Yes. Yes.
It's a very dangerous phase, man.
Mm, mm. No, it's very interesting, and also while we're talking about it, I mean, with the recent IC uh, International Criminal Court, which has given the warrant for the arrest of Netanyahu, do you see that unfolding, or so? You're just gonna stay where he's at?
Well, here is the hypocrisy.
Mm,
Putin hasn't killed a fraction of the people that in Ukraine. And
mm.
don't forget, a lot of people don't know the history of Ukraine and Russia, and they think Putin is the aggressor. But if you think about the Minsk Accords with Merkel
Yeah,
from Germany, one of the reasons why Gorbachev tore that wall down, whatever, with East Germany and West Germany,
yes, there was a major agreement. Yeah,
there was an agreement that okay, we will give up our control of the Warsaw Pact nations
yeah,
if you guarantee that you're not gonna bring NATO forces closer to my border.
yeah,
Almost every Warsaw Pact nation that was aligned with Russia is now a part of NATO.
yeah,
And one of the reasons why the Ukraine war started was that in 2014, after the overthrow of the president who wanted closer ties to Russia, he was overthrown by outside forces. And we know who
yeah,
they are. Um, the Ukrainians started to ban the use of the Russian language
yeah,
in Ukraine, and you know Ukraine is just across the border. It's a free, you know, when during the Warsaw Pact era, it's all one big country. The USSR is one big country, so you could go anywhere. So a lot of Russians, ethnic Russians, live in Ukraine, and I think one of the reasons why um, Putin hasn't gone all out is because he'll be killing his own people. It's actually a civil war, you know.
mm,
It's a civil war with a fraction of the people who are Ukrainians, who say they're Ukrainians, who are based on ideology, do not like Russians, and they've killed a lot of Russians before in Donbass area before Putin took over, before he got tired of it and invaded them. Okay, they also got Crimea. He had a referendum, and Crimea, they wanted to be part of Russia. They voted to be part of
yeah,
Russia.
mm,
Now the ICC, which you're talking about, right? Why is it that they're calling Putin a war criminal and he should be arrested? When I think the ICC made a similar recommendation to Netanyahu, the same
yeah,
thing.
yeah. And
So,
Hamas people as well. Yeah,
so why is America not recognizing the rights of the ICC, but they're recognizing when it comes to Putin?
mm,
It's a double standard, my brother. I mean, it's like The world not level in a brethren. That's why donkey roll at daytime and them roll
Yeah,
because they develop the world.
yeah, the world level definitely. I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw that discussion I was talking about this young chap before we go into the Jamaica elections. There's a young chap who was arrested in Dubai for having sex with a young girl of 17 years of age. Both of them are British. She came back to the UK with her family, and he was left there. Then the mother contacted Dubai authorities and reported the boy, the 18-year-old chap. The girl is now 18 now as well. I know he's arrested there. He's there detained. Chances are he could be there for 20 years or so. You know,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, but Elvis Presley married when he married Priscilla, she was only 14. She was pregnant at
yeah,
14.
yeah. But I think the issue is about the Middle East at the same time.
Yeah.
They're very strict with their laws.
Yeah, but the guy from the guy who was going to be Attorney General, right? He was being accused and demonized for having sex with a 17-year-old girl, right?
Oh, that's why I said got it.
You're right. So why
Yeah.
why was Elvis Presley demonized for getting Priscilla pregnant when she's about 14 or 15 years old?
Yes.
He said they use the law when it's convenient.
Yes.
That's what they do. And
Mm,
I don't know, man. Like I said,
yeah.
hypocrisy is just double standard. Is like it's
Well, well,
nauseating.
you well, you say it's about the world is not level. You say the world is not level there. But but anyway, elections was in Jamaica of recent days, and I've got the figures here. The election was in Jamaica recent days. Um, one was for Nigel Clark, who left and went for IMF, and
Oh,
other
Santa Clark,
what do you call him?
Santa Clark.
Oh, Santa Clark. I think I
He,
heard some about.
yeah,
Yeah.
he gave away the 30 million, 20% raise to MPs that are not doing a good job.
And I believe the prime minister had said, now that we are being paid, now we're gonna work.
No, but it's actually an insult to them, because what he said,
Mm,
he's giving them more money to attract better candidates. So what do you have there now?
mm,
What do you
mm.
have there now? So the people that are being re-elected or whatever are the same people. So if you're trying to attract new people with more money, that's not gonna happen because
Yeah.
the faithful will always be re-elected by the small portion of Jamaicans that actually vote.
I like what you said, and we're gonna talk about that bit there about the portion of Jamaicans who vote. Yep, the portion of Jamaicans who vote are in a minority because the in one of the elections which took place of recent days, the one which was where Nigel Clark left, it was 6% turnout and 18. Let me look for the figures here. I can tell you the figures right here. Six. What is it? What is it? That's okay. Parliamentary election, retrieving election results. This is from the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, right? They, I think they said they keep updating it each time. Yes, St. Andrew Northwestern.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the figure. Let me show that figure there. Oh, this is very interesting as well. Share the screen. St. Andrew. Yeah, here it is. If that's it. No, that's not it.
Yes, Virgin.
Yeah. Okay, it's not coming up, but it's not coming up. But let me read what it says. St. Andrew St. Andrew Northwestern,
Mm-hmm.
1,863 voted for the JLP. Of course, PNP did not contest it. There's a gentleman called Inda Marshall, Carl O'Neill. He got 111 votes. A gentleman called Rowan Banks, it says 0.
Yeah, he didn't.
But
He didn't run. He actually told him that he was gonna run because
yeah, yeah. But Dwayne Smith, who is the JLP contender, the son of um, former Minister of National Security, Smith, 1,863. Mark, 1,863 votes and the turnout was 6.2%. The registered voters in the area is 31,729. 31,729 persons were registered to vote on the electoral list. 6.2% turned out, and Mr. Smith got 1,863 votes. What is that saying?
what it says to me is that people need to start voting by text. Make it easier for people to vote. Vote
So,
by
you- so, you,
text.
so what do you think then? What do you think is that it is making it easier for people to vote, or people not interested to vote?
A combination of both, because it requires a lot of money to run an election. For instance, I supported a candidate in Northeast St. Anne's, and I was a poll worker just to kind of see what's going on.
Mm,
And let me tell you something, man. I mean, I know starvation. I got introduced to starvation because I couldn't leave the poll station to buy my food or anything because you have to be watching what's going on, right?
mm,
Whereas a GLP candidate, he had, they had the GLP poll workers had someone assigned to each polling booth to offer them refreshments and wonderful dinners and lunch, while I have to stay out there and actually just beg a man to go buy a juice, and I couldn't leave. But they had people that were assigned to take care of the poll workers, you know,
mm.
and that takes resources. If you're on
Yes,
a campaign as an independent candidate and you want to protect your votes and you hire poll workers to watch the process, it's going to cost you money.
yeah.
There's a cost to that. There's a cost to bus them there. I mean, I drove there on my own, but a lot of people,
Boss who? Boss who?
the poll workers, man.
Yeah, yeah. But Mark, let's okay. The poll workers is there. They're already there. Poll
No,
workers.
no, 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 no. You
Sorry.
volunteer. You volunteer to go to the poll to the. Okay, you volunteer to go to the Okay, the poll workers are the
Yes,
ones that are supplied by the government. Okay.
yes, yes.
However, the other poll workers are the ones that represent the political parties, and
Tell
those
us.
people,
Yeah.
those people are brought in to ensure that there's a fair election. That
Yes,
all the votes are counted.
yes,
Um, so each political party presents their poll workers at each booth to
yes,
keep track of what's going on. That
yes,
costs money. That costs money. They
yes,
get paid to go there, and they are also offered the best refreshments and dinners and lunch. Well, if you're an independent candidate and you don't have the money, then you suffer
yeah,
because you have to have the money to pay these other poll workers to watch your vote.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I fundamentally believe that you, I think a third party candidate would get a better chance of getting more votes if it was easier for the electorate to vote.
Okay.
And
All right.
I strongly believe that if you vote by text, that technology is there. We
Yeah.
bank by phone.
No.
You get more people voting, man. I can vote
Yeah.
from my bedroom.
Okay. Thanks, Michelle. Welcome. How are you doing?
Hi, how you doing, guys? Hey,
How
Mark.
are you? How are
Yeah.
you?
I'm
Yeah.
doing well.
Michelle, I
Well,
don't know if you've been following through and this
I
election.
just came in the last, but when I heard Mark say vote by text, I think that's a no-no.
You think that's a no-no?
No, 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 no. You can't do that. Mm-mm.
Why? Why?
Because you have you're supposed to go and identify yourself and make sure that you're the one who's doing that vote.
Yeah, but I'm the one identify myself when I log into on my computer to withdraw money or deposit money. I'm the one doing it. So what's the point?
Well, anybody can get that and do that. I don't
Well,
think that's
s-
it. I
okay,
think
so if everybody can get that and do that, why them not go in on my account and take my money?
eventually sometime people tap
Yeah,
into people take money and take their money
yeah,
into people bank accounts and take their money.
but guess what? That is so minuscule. It's not a problem. Nobody is fearful of banking by phone because it's not an everyday occurrence. But I want to tell you this though. A lot of people have complained that ballot boxes have been stolen and destroyed because you're dealing with people. And
Mark,
people,
somebody asked, where in the world do you know of a country that their citizens vote by text? Do you know where that mark is?
I'm
I
gonna
don't
tell
know either.
I'm gonna tell you where.
Yeah.
Where?
In my mind, in the minds of those who think outside of the box.
Mm.
I do not do things as an artist does. Who gives, who does what or what. We have to lead.
Yeah.
That's what leadership does. When you're a leader, you lead. You don't follow.
Yeah.
Who made the first rules?
And guess what? That's
We
what's
as
messing up the
Jamaicans,
society right now.
yeah, but we
Mm.
as Jamaicans
And
have to
that I mess
stop
the
looking.
society up right now. We're too lazy to do things. You're talking
Yeah,
about you
well,
could do
guess
it
what?
from your bed. Get up out of your bed and go do it.
Michelle, I get you, but that now work.
And that is
Because
what's
nobody now
happening to
vote.
us right now. We're lazy now, and the whole of the AI and all them things that take over because of our laziness.
Yeah, but Michelle, nobody not voting, man. You know, this man says 6%, man. Nobody not vote. So what you gonna do?
Because Jamaica need to get the system, them government correct. Them need to get the election system correct. It's not correct. First
Michelle,
Michelle.
of all, the system
what,
they
what
need to have a date.
A
You
fixed
know
date.
your date of your vote, a permanent date that you know every 4 years or every 3 years, however Jamaica do it. This is your date, October to this, whatever it may be. That's our voting date.
Michelle, do you
That's
know
how people. That's how parties get to say you're prepared to say you're going to do your debates and do your this and do your that. That's how
okay,
it
Michelle.
happened. But the whole system to me is all fricked up.
Yeah, Michelle, do you know that when Holness came into before he became prime minister, the only thing that he promised was that he would put in place fixed election dates.
Yeah.
You know why he did? You know why he did that? He did that because he got blindsided by Portia when he was running. We were at the gate at UA together debate with him and Joseph Patterson and Holness, and she just cancelled. And then a couple of days later, she said, we're gonna have the election on that on this date.
All right. Okay.
He was so
and then and
blindsided
then
by that.
every party go for it. That's just
No,
it.
no, but yeah, but
To me, it's not.
when you have lawmakers becoming lawbreakers, what do you do, Michelle? What do
But
you do?
that happens all over the world.
All right.
Yeah,
Anybody who's
Okay. Let's take a pin here. Let's take a pin here for a second. And let's go back to the results. Let's deal with the results and catch up as to what happened. There were four elections that took place. There was a parliamentary election and there was also a local government election. The PNP contested only the local government election, not the parliamentary election, because they said they have a rule whereby they do not um, go for parliamentary election in the year of an election. The year of an election is 2025, which they're talking about. Let me just welcome Andrea. Andrea, how are you? You good?
Yeah, I'm not
Andrea,
bad. I'm not bad. I'm
good.
listening. I'm not bad.
Welcome, welcome.
I
Thanks,
say,
thanks for yeah, thanks for coming on. Yeah,
okay.
I'm just reflecting on the results. I'm just gonna say the results here. So, of the by-election, St. Andrew North Western, which is the one where Nigel Clark vacated to go to IMF, the the JLP won by 1,863. Right, that was Mr. Dwayne Smith, the son of Smith, forget the Minister of National Security, former Minister of National Security. There was a gentleman called Marshall, Carl O'Neill Marshall. He got 111 votes. Now, this is a bit now, and we're going to touch on all of them. Voter turnout was 6.2%. 6.2%. Registered voters was 31, 729, right? Now, we can come back and look at this to say maybe it's because the JLP recognized that there's no PNP there, there's not going to be any influx of persons, so they left their people that people did not vote or didn't come out. But 1,863 persons voted for that MP, right? Now, is that a mandate? Anyway, stick a pin on that. Trelawney Southern, Trelawney Southern, which is Maurice Dalrymple Philibert. And we can talk about this also. She's the one who had resigned based on some accusation or some allegations or whatever like that, and being investigated. I don't know if anything has changed then. But anyway, she got 4,146 votes. And there's an independent guy named Lloyd Gillens. He got 1,434. The voter turnout was 22.3%. Registered voters, 25,041. People are interested in voting, guys. It's not about Mark. It's not about Mark the ease of voting. People not interested. But anyway, let's look now at the local government election now. This is the one that the PNP won. St. Thomas. In St. Thomas, the voter turnout was 37%. Registered voters, 11,009. PNP won by 2,096, and JLP got 1,978. Yeah, 37%. That fits in with the same figure of the last general election of persons that turned out. I think it was 37%. Now, Clarendon, you had a Suzette Barton of the JLP and Delroy Dawson of the PNP. He got 1,646. She got 1,592. Voter turnout 46.8%. Registered voters 6,921. And that's not bad because But anyway, I want to ask firstly, you're on the rock. You're the only person on the rock. Wait, Lord, Mark, you're on the rock. But let me ask Andrea. Andrea, what's your reaction to these votes and these turnout or so like that? What do you take on it?
Well, my reactions to the turnout. Well, as someone said yesterday, they had the Laborites had issues with Dwayne Smith replacing the former Minister of Finance because they
Okay.
say he's not able to ignite the people. All right, which we saw like he didn't do because he had a possible voters registered for 31,600 and odd, and
Yes.
we saw that he only gained 1,863. All
Yes.
right, so that nothing happened there. Dalrymple, she had 31,000 persons eligible to vote. She got 4,000 and odd, and the other person got 1,000 and odd. No, still again, nobody interested in voting. But then again, um, you've been seeing that for the longest while. Remember, we have a prime minister who I call a prime minister by default or by proxy, because none of them got the people's mandate with the voter turnout that was 37 and to be 30 and to be shared for both of them, right?
Mm.
So people are not really interested in voting. We are looking at that. So all I could hope for now is that groundwork has to be done by both parties, you know. But as something they said last night to Cliff Hughes, he said, well, the Labour Party really has to go out and get a lot of work done because they are the government in power. And for them to be having to put in so much work and getting no result, you know, well, them need to go out. But it's bad. It's bad. We can understand it because local government elections never usually bring out anybody. That's a municipality thing, right? But I know the people are just not interested. I think they've been too disillusioned. They have seen too many things go wrong, and too many things happening. You have a false. You've been given a false sense of prosperity, but who is the prosperity for, right?
Mm.
Because even remember you have Grand Bahia who are on strike even now, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, so the hotel people are coming out every week, two, three of them per week, you know, and it is bad. But who is prosperity for? The people them just and people are getting most people are not even dependent on politicians anymore. You understand?
Mm.
Them go
So
through
like
them daily thing
them a
after. But
business,
it
like
is
them say
bad.
none of business anymore. Um,
No, it is bad, though. It is bad. It is bad. So what
me-
I can tell you now, you know who I support, and based on that, the thing, the euphoria, going forward, the PNP is realizing that okay, we know why our prime minister is there now. It's because of the internal thing that's still over in the public, and PNP didn't vote and all of that. So what you're looking at now is that PNP are being ignited, right? And down in the western part, the Manchester, the Westmoreland, Trelawney, all the seats that they won, that according to Mr. The Rastaman, Damien
yeah.
said, well, we are taking back what we lost and we're claiming what we want.
Mm.
So, you know, but I think it's a bad thing to happen right now with tomorrow being the conference, you know,
You mean a
as
bad thing?
people
A
are
bad? You mean a bad thing for the
the
JLP or
result.
the
Yesterday,
conference?
yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
tomorrow's their conference. Tomorrow's their conference. So I think it's a bad thing. Something apart from that, I always wonder if it's a PNP operative advising Andrew. Because with a conference coming up now, why would you retire two stalwarts without telling them that you retired them?
That is that
That is
is
that is that is
Samuda and Mike Henry.
Samuda and Mike Henry.
Mm.
And with Rosalie Hamilton coming out, cursing in a group, and then somebody released the voice notes of her
Mm.
being disgruntled and not longer writing in the group, and so it's a lot of problem happening, just going to there. But we'll
Okay,
see how it goes.
okay. Let's take a pin there. Let me go to Michelle and then go to Mark. Michelle, based on the discussion we just had with Mark a while ago, talking about the reason why people don't turn out is because of the ease of not voting. But we're seeing whereby people seem not to be interested in going out to vote based on
No, they're
what.
not interested because
Mm,
mostly poor people voting in Jamaica, And the poor people them fed up now and say that neither of the party them and work for them.
mm,
Straight.
mm,
None of the parties are working for them, so they're not interested.
mm.
Plain and straight. Okay,
Yeah,
both party need for go and come again. JLP and PNP. And what
mm,
kills me is that people always talk about democracy.
yeah,
There's no democracy. People need to stop using that word. If there was democracy, we wouldn't only have two parties, even here in the United States. We wouldn't only have two parties that we choose from. We would have more than two parties to choose from if there was such thing as democracy.
or in America you would have more people to choose a Kamala instead of just being anointed in the democratic
But
thing.
but is America really a democracy? America is not a democracy. It's a constitutional federal republic. We all
Yeah,
know that.
yeah.
And what they do, because
I want to bring.
remember,
Yeah, yeah,
what they do in their elections is what they'll do sometimes, is they will let the people feel that okay, I'm gonna give you this person who is a favorite to make you feel as if you're a part of the system and in choosing a leader, right? But
yeah,
because they know that when people feel as if they're a part of the system choosing their leader, you won't have any rebellions or revolutions or
yeah.
anybody try to try to do any coups. You understand? So it's not really democracy. But democracy itself, I don't know
Yeah,
which countries is democratic really, because democracy has got a facet.
Exactly.
yeah.
No
Exactly.
country. No,
Yeah,
because in a democracy, we supposed to have freedom of speech, but the freedom of speech can go far and
Exactly.
no further. What,
Yep.
what is what is freedom of speech? If I'm not
Yeah.
allowed to
So
offend
people
you,
need to stop calling that word,
stop
talking
calling, yeah,
about,
there's no
and this is a
democracy.
the democratic country, and it's bull crap
No,
about
it's
democratic
not.
country.
It's not.
all right.
Okay,
We are democratic.
we would
Let me
have
come back.
liberals. We will have
Yeah,
we will have independents. We will
yeah,
have the JLP, the PNP, and another party. You get any party you want to choose
yeah,
from. You would only have two parties to choose from.
yeah.
We
Okay.
have other parties, we have independent and we have UIC.
Michelle, just 1 second. I need to bring in Mark. Mark is on the wings there. Mark, let's go back to the point where we were at when we spoke about the reason people are not coming out to vote, and you alluded to the ability to text. It sounds like you're saying the ease of voting, but when you look at these figures, which I just reeled off of the recent elections, it seems to be that people are not interested in coming out.
That's a fact.
Mm,
I was just trying to get some people who are somewhat interested to vote.
yeah, yeah,
And I think those who are somewhat interested would like to disrupt the apple cart by voting an independent or other persons who are not part of the duopoly governance. The GLP and PNP work together. They're duopoly governance against the Jamaican people. Another thing that we need to understand is that in the absence of truth, democracy, as we know it, cannot be realized. When you have politicians spewing false narratives and outright lies, and they're not vetted by the media, um, they get a free pass. So if you're voting on a lie, like for instance, Holness said he was going to have fixed election date when he first got in. We're now in the twilight hours or days or months of calling the election, right? It still not has been done. He had 8 years to do that. Look how many other initiatives he's put forward and have sent through, have tabled and have gotten through. And fixed election was not one of them, and that's what he promised when he first got in. So when you can say what you want to say and not do anything, and there's no accountability with consequences, then they'll continue to do the same thing over and over again and get away with it. So I understand the lack of interest in the political system because it has not worked. I mean, if you look in America and you look in Jamaica, I mean, America is supposed to be the beacon of democracy, and we're talking about a constitutional republic now a while ago. If you think about it, our choice was Trump and Biden at first, and then you
yeah,
have Trump and Kamala. Kamala, when she ran, she dropped out. She wasn't nobody wanted her when she first ran.
yes, because she ran against Biden, isn't it, for the
Yeah.
primary, isn't it?
Initially, yeah.
Yeah, yes,
So
yes,
how she got in is just based on the political hierarchy in the Democratic Party that appointed her to do the bidding of her handlers. That's
yes.
why they don't like Tulsi
Yeah,
Gabbard, my brother. That's
it's
why they don't
it's
like
the
Tulsi Gabbard. But guess what? Day before yesterday, Bill Clinton said his prediction is that the first female president will be a Republican and most likely a conservative.
Mm.
Now, Tulsi Gabbard is in the National
Intelligence.
Agency for what do you call it? Secret Service type of thing,
Yes, she's prime
intelligence.
position, isn't it? She's in prime position. She's in pole
Oh,
position.
big time prime. And guess what?
Mm.
I am just waiting for them to grill her on her Russian,
Links.
um, what do you call it? She's a Russian asset. That's what
Yeah,
Hillary said.
yeah, yes.
I am salivating at the time when they will have to prove it or shut the hell up.
Mm.
But she might be an ex-president after Trump because Once people get to know who Tulsi Gabbard is and how free thinking she is and how patriotic she's been to America, there's no
Mm,
doubt that she'll be the next president of the United States.
yeah, yeah.
Is, is,
Someone,
is,
someone,
isn't
someone.
isn't that really a fallacy or delusion? Because which president is really allowed free reign? I've been watching ever since Mr. Trump won, and all the things he's going to change, and most of the things he said he's going to change. It has to be done constitutionally, right? No, it can't just happen like that.
So,
I'm looking at a lot of things, 'cause we know that Kamala she was just used. I think I don't know. I don't if she really held any hope of winning. I really don't think so because the way she
Mm,
answered some questions, but I don't know. To me, there's a point in life when I was younger when I was in awe of the American politics, and I think when I worked it out, no, it was just that I didn't understand it very well, and because there wasn't any analyzing of people. Then that's why it was so awesome for me. But now let me get to understand it. It's all comical.
yeah.
Is it really what part of it is true? Because as far as I'm concerned, I think I typed something on TikTok to Silver the other day and he ridiculed it. I said, first of all the agendas that Trump is saying is going to turn back. It is what the handlers are putting in place. And I said to Silburn on the TikTok, I typed, I do not think that Trump will be sworn in. You know,
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was questioning that. Yeah, to break it
I
down.
do not think he will sworn. You see, all of who they put around him,
yeah, but the people that he has around him right now,
they
a
put
lot of
around
them,
Gail,
yeah, but a lot of them who are around Trump today,
they
the
put
new
around
Trump presidency, a lot of these people are not are upset at the system because the
Mm,
system is really a fraud. It's kind of a fraud. And Tulsi Gabbard, I've been following her for the last 7 years. She's been consistent
yes.
on what she said. Wars of choice are the ones that are conducted by presidents without
Yeah.
congressional approval. When we took out Gaddafi, did Obama get congressional approval? Did he
We
get?
were told after that they
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
make
So what I'm saying
situation
to you,
work.
there's certain areas where the president can make a decision without Congress. He just does it. So I'm very interested to see what is going to happen with all these people with so diverse views and so radical against the system. What is going? I'm anxious to see what's going to happen because
Mm.
this is not going to be a lot of people who are there who have been there for years and years, touring the same old lies and party line. They're going to be in direct conflict with these young professionals who are borderline radical.
So,
But then
so,
again, what's considered radical? Radical is away from the accepted norms that have not worked. So you're looked at as a radical.
so what you're saying, Mark, is that this is linked to the wall and Andrea, about democracy to a certain extent. And if we take it back to Jamaica, um, when you talk about democracy, someone just said on TikTok, you have to give Dr. Holness his credit. 90.5% of his promises in 2016 have been fulfilled. Is that true? Do you know that
which
true?
are what? Oh, no, no,
Well,
no. Let the person itemize it for you because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
in
yeah,
Jamaica
yeah.
And
Person,
he
yeah.
wants to
no.
know to let
And,
whoever
and,
say that
and, and
itemize it,
If you can
please.
itemize
the
that
sad
for
thing,
us on TikTok, yeah.
the sad thing, the sad thing about all of this is, and for me, it's sometimes I just go against all political affiliation and thing and just say, well, listen, my people have been so dumbed down for so long that they do not even realize that they're just puppets and they're being used and they're being, I mean, it's all people
Yes,
are just putting
yes.
things in their minds and they don't realize because you're on TikTok and you're in a discussion and they might type something, you're passing through one of those labor rights lives and you might type in what about you might hear somebody say, so what? So if him thief money, you'll not kill him for that? Are him alone a thief? And you just be like, you just say, wow. It is just so easy for us because it's as if, remember, it's like we are built on the hustling
Ignorant.
mentality. ignorance and the hustling mentality, and
Mhm.
we can excuse a government or a minister, prime minister, who is supposed to be. We are under the Nolan Principles of Public Servants
Yeah.
Act, right? And right now, nobody not even care about that. Why would somebody? My thing is, why would somebody who is innocent behave guilty? Because the fact that you are running to the Supreme Court to get a judicial review to say, listen, I think you went too deep in my personal. You have the personal life. You don't have the private life when it comes down to being a public servant. You were told that. So if you're going into
Mm.
politics, they had 42 million. According to you, you're supposed to have made declared all of that. So they no, you can help me. Just honesty, integrity, transparency.
Yeah.
The whole seven thing.
Selflessness, selflessness,
Selflessness.
honesty,
Yes, right,
yeah,
right.
leadership, and all those sort of things.
Leaders. Yes, all of that. So we're not
Which
seeing that. That is not happening.
which the present government and the members of parliaments have not signed up to the code of
No,
they have not
no.
signed up to it.
Can,
Yeah.
can you imagine they did the integrity commission class thing there? To go to learn the thing, and what they did when they came out of it. The PNP signed on, but the JLP never signed on. So somebody said, you know what they did? They went in there to learn it to see how they could go around it, circumvent
Yeah.
it, and not
Yeah.
after.
Yeah. I think one of the things that which need to be looked at is this, and Mark and Michelle and Andrea, I put it this way: you had the recent elections, and you had Dalrymple. Do you can you sort of remind us what was the issue with Dalrymple, Andrea? Why she pulled back, and has anything changed for her to
No,
come back?
nothing has. No, nothing has changed. She still has the thing to answer to when it comes up. All that's happening is that the people who they have in the particular in the DPP office and in the courts, they are putting back their things further and staggering it and all of that. But she did not. She said she did what they accused her of doing, which is using the 100% thing that she had to bring in a vehicle for herself, reporting for a family member, and use that thing. It's illegal under the Constitution. And there's another thing that she has from about 20 something now, where she has a case in court for lands and house that belong to Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark even died since the whole thing, and nothing, it's not ended as yet. So that is the whole thing. You find in Jamaica that, okay, if you are
Yeah, but
accused as a public servant of so many things, she never denied what the Integrity Commission has her for now, right? No, you're not supposed to representing us until you sort yourself out and everything is done. No, you're
yeah,
not
but like
supposed to.
Okay, stick up.
yeah, but like
Okay,
I
go
said to you,
Mark.
right?
Hmm?
Oh,
Go on, Mark.
now saying
Yeah,
when
go.
lawmakers
Go ahead, Mark.
when when lawmakers are lawbreakers, nothing's gonna change. I mean, think about this. Royal Reed has been on the he was arrested and charged with misappropriation of funds, or that's the new name for theft. Misappropriation of funds.
Mm-hmm.
Them give it some bossy name, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how long is this trial going on? Are they hoping that we will forget about it? It's been over 7 years
Seven
And I
that
years.
remember what the DPP said.
Jamaicans have been denied justice, and he has been denied justice as well, because you're presumed innocent until found guilty, right?
Yes.
But there is enough evidence to charge him. What is taking the court so long?
No, but
Mm.
This
everything apart from that, even the lady,
women I
even
tell
the
you, say
lady was.
what I'm saying to you, right, is that we're not getting justice in our country from the lawmakers who are supposed to be representing our people. We're
Mm.
not. And
Mm.
what they're doing is that I fundamentally believe that we're experiencing Stockholm syndrome, where
Thank you very much.
it's a phenomenon where people who have been uh,
Abuse, start defending their abuser, trying to understand their abuser. Yeah.
right,
Mm-hmm.
if you're held, what you call it, them hostage or whatever, they go
Yeah.
through that. Jamaicans
Mm-hmm.
right now are in. There's a mixed bag of that. They believe there's no hope. So what's the use of complaining, you know? And they also use their lack of self worth um, to feel, in other words, the politicians would give them small tidbits, and they're like, "Oh my God, look what he's doing!" So,
Yeah.
they don't understand their rights and responsibility as citizens, and
So,
they're not aware in most cases of government's responsibility to them.
mm. so, so,
So
so are we saying that the government also, our leaders in Jamaica, are not educating the mass of people as to their rights
it's
as
not
well?
it's not in their best interest to do that, boss. Them
They
know
don't
how
want
to
to
do
No,
that.
it's
want to
not.
keep them ignorant.
No, you're on
Until
own.
Of
What
Kilburn
I'm
course,
know
keep
saying,
this.
them ignorant.
Kilburn, you know
what
that.
I'm saying
You
to
know
you,
that.
Paul, what I'm saying to you, you're on your own. And like I said today, I want to go before, like I said, when I was waiting on you, right? I had a discussion with Paul Campbell, who is an actor in, Jamaican actor,
Yeah.
and we're discussing the whole, OD situation. And I have to leave, but I'm gonna read a short poem
Yes.
that best gives you an insight into how they use their authority to and their lack of self-worth
Yeah.
to keep them captive. Okay, it's
Yeah.
called ODs like leaves on trees.
Mm.
The colonial gears engage as the time of enlightenment nears, capturing the minds of the flock who never took stock of the past, where the uneven die was cast, unwavering like a rock. Praise is like food to those that hunger for attention, captivating their inherent fears of not being somebody to mention, as politicians engage eager souls just to win an election. The general governor limits the aspirations of the people, replaced with an OD so everyone can see, but accolades won't benefit you or me until we are all mentally free. It's better to pick than be cherry picked and eaten. A blessing to be independent in mind and body, never beaten. Yet in sorrow, observing the fraud on those happily embracing the same oppressor for no rhyme or reason. That is my poem. Let it soak in a little bit and you'll figure it out. We are still held hostage. We are still captive in our minds. And Jamaica is not going to change unless we, as persons who want change, come together and make this an educational campaign. And the
Mm.
first place to do that is through constitutional reform that holds government accountable, just like a train can't run by itself, it has to follow the
Mm.
guidelines of the rail.
I,
Government
yeah.
needs to follow the rail, or they'll
I,
do exactly what they
yeah.
want to do, and you can't do nothing about it.
I'm so sort of disappointed as to the whole constitution reform, how it's just been silenced and dead to a certain extent. I don't know. Is it dead in the wood or something like that?
It
No,
is
no,
that. It is that.
they realized that it was gonna be like a fake constitution. And when they realized that they couldn't get by, people were actually listening to what they're saying. I mean,
Mm.
I've been to like 3 or 4 of these meetings where I've
Mm.
expressed my views. The last one I had at Emancipation Park in Malou Fort, I asked her, I said, hey, let's have an informal poll right now at Emancipation Park. Who wants a ceremonial president or who wants an elected president?
Yes.
She wouldn't dare try it because she
Mm.
knew it was stacked against her. When they realized that it's not going their way, they all kept quiet.
Mm.
We thought that the constitutional reform is a great opportunity for
Yes.
Jamaicans to get engaged and to actually chart a course that is not based on colonial collusion or coercion, but organically directed by the people of Jamaica.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen unless we keep our voices up. You talk about Rosalie Hamilton the other day, earlier. If we all come together and keep on point, I think eventually we get the constitution we deserve, and I think we'll get the constitution that will keep the government accountable with consequences. Because you can't say, man, oh, I'm sorry, and
Yeah.
you just walk off. No, there has to be pain
Yeah.
based on the decision that you make that are
Yeah.
not in the best interest of the Jamaican people.
Did you say you have to go, Mark? Did you say something
Yes,
like that? Yeah. All
yes,
right, just 1 second before you go, and guy, I want to go back to that point I was flagging up regarding Dalrymple and the fact of anything change, and someone pointed out here on TikTok. I want to hear your guys' views on PNP having a two-time drug traffic running for parliament. Okay, let's take a pin right there. The next thing also is that if there are 8 persons who are being investigated for illicit enrichment, including the prime minister, should these persons, whenever an election is called, if the IC don't sort it out by that time, should these persons be put forward? Should they go forward to
no, they
be?
should. They should lose by default. In other words, if they put up their names to run, you see, that's where consequences come in. If
Mm,
you don't have laws with teeth and an independent judiciary, the Integrity Commission must be independent, and they must be independent with teeth. A dog with no teeth is no threat to you, my brethren.
yeah,
Dog must have teeth because a dog with teeth can bite. If you have a dog without teeth, you're not going to fear the dog. So, Integrity Commission must have teeth. Whatever they say must go. They should be able to tell these guys who do not conform that they must leave. If you don't
but
have that, if you don't have the consequences behind accountability, what is the point?
yes, yes,
That's why when them lock you down the other day, you know, them put consequences in it, you know. Them say if you walk around during COVID, your fine is $400,000. Enough man stay home. There are consequences. So how come you won't give us consequence and then don't have no consequence? That don't make no
yeah,
sense.
yeah. But at the same time, but at the same time, what we have is a situation whereby persons okay, okay. There's allegations or accusations from people in the PNP who are, well, they're former, isn't it? Because I guess they're alluding to Isaac Buchanan, isn't it? I think that's what
Yeah, but
they're.
you know something. Okay, I'm no fan of that kind of thing. Okay,
Yeah.
but Canon, everybody deserves a second chance.
Yes. Yes. Mm.
Everybody, because he made some mistakes when he was younger. By the way, he's a son of what
Ja,
name um
Just
no
his
not
father.
no what name again there not you right brother there Big Youth. That's Big
Big
Youth's
youth.
son.
Yeah. Big youth. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Big Youth's son.
Mm.
Now, people make mistakes in life, man. I mean, nobody is above, people, we make
Oh,
mistakes. All right. He's not a lawyer. He's redeemed himself somewhat, and
yeah.
he's changed. Give him a chance. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not the best candidate, but I mean, if he is willing to, if we are gonna hold him accountable, and we
Yeah.
have laws that are gonna hold people accountable, then there's no reason why, that's one reason why on Up Jamaica we worked on protocols, okay,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
constitution.
Mm.
We believe that with the right constitution, if a criminal goes into the government, that criminal cannot operate because there's so many
System.
layers of protection
Yeah.
for the Jamaican people that you're not even going to want to go in government because you realize you're not going to make the money. You know what I mean? People
Mm.
go in government today because there's proof that when you go in there broke, you're going to come out rich because there's so many loopholes for people to come out rich. So that's why
Yeah.
they go. That's why they will spend $5 or $6 million of their own money to get elected because they're going to recoup that money. People talk about, oh, we want to serve. Go down that children hospital and go serve. If you want to serve, go to the old people home, go serve.
Mm.
Don't come here, come talk about you want to serve when say you're not going to serve. You want to serve yourself. And the proof is there. Nobody can say to me that a lot of people that have gone in there broke didn't come out rich, and it's because it's based on their government job and the connections they've made in
Mm.
government that goes against the. Do you know, for instance, that it's illegal in the constitution that we have right now to pay people to vote?
Mm.
Has anybody gone to jail for vote buying or vote selling? Nobody, because the lawmakers are the lawbreakers.
Mm.
So until these things
Okay.
change, my brother, you will continue to talk about it and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. Not change. You know, how long have we been talking? How long
We've
you
been,
and I been talking, Silburn?
yeah, we've been talking a long time, isn't it? We
What
having
has changed? What has
conferences,
changed,
discussion.
Bridget? What has changed, Bridget? Listen to
Mm,
me. Like I said to you before,
yeah.
we need to engage the people on a grassroots level
Mm,
around the entire country. I tell all these people from the independent political parties and all those who want to make change, fund an educational program around the country
mm,
to let them know the kind of constitution that's going to hold government accountable, the kind of constitution that will allow the MP and the councils to walk hand in hand with you, and they do what you want and not what they want to do. If you're not that, brethren, there'll be
yeah.
another 20 years that we'll be talking, and nothing not going to change.
Yes.
I'm into solutions. I'm stop me tired of talk.
Well,
Tired
well, I do hope that the next government, whether it's the Andrew Holness government or the um Golding
Tim?
government, that they will sort out this whole thing about election and dealing with this fixed date, because really and truly you shouldn't be having a prime minister getting up or in field this morning or so and decide I'm going to call election this day or call election that day. I,
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
believe that is something that
Hey,
needs
no,
to
guys,
be
I gotta
done.
go.
Mark,
I gotta go. Okay.
so peace out, Mark. Thank you.
Respect.
Okay,
Send the
Mark.
send the poem
Keep
to
up
me
the
as
fight,
well.
guys. Love the show. Love Michelle. You know, one of my sister and them and I had the struggle for a long time.
Yes, Mark.
Enough respect, Michelle.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
I'll put up your
Jamaica,
I'll put up your poem later. I'll cut it and put it up.
yeah, man, one Jamaica, one love every time, Bridget. We just want a better country that we can all live our lives and leave a better country for the next generation. That's how we
Yeah,
want to know.
That's
That's how we
all.
want.
yeah.
Take care of yourself, here, guys. All right,
All
then.
right, Mark.
Cool.
Yes,
Respect,
Mark.
respect, Mark.
Yeah, man.
Cheers.
Respect.
Yeah. Okay. Um, Michelle, what's your take on this whole thing regarding um persons who have a tainted past and persons who have a tainted present entering into elections and putting themselves forward. I mean, of course you got the best example of Trump, innit?
Right, exactly.
But we're talking about Jamaica here now, for argument's sake.
And that's kind of it's a double-edged sword there, because you have here in America people who commit federal crime, you can't vote. You never can vote.
Mm.
And how much federal counts Trump up against him and him around for presidency.
Well, not running for president. He's now elected as president,
Well, yes,
and, and,
exactly. He's
and all
elected,
and
exactly.
all those charges also. Everything is they are
It's
talking
gonna
about
go
everything on
away.
hold.
All of that
Everything on
will go
hold.
away.
You know. So
Yeah.
so so I, so what's your take on persons who are
And what I wanted to
tainted?
say to Mark was,
Yeah.
he's saying that he's for like action, for something to get done. Mark, I'm about that too, and you got to
Mm,
get with people that's in your caliber. You understand what I'm saying?
mm,
Because the poor people really are suffering now, and the poor people them
yes.
not avid for say put it up like that and say okay,
Mm,
they don't. So you got to get with people that's in your caliber to say put up so that we could start programs for the youth them and forget them more educated, teach them civics so that they know about their government, and them
mm,
things that them know what it's all about and them things that you know and another thing about the media or the newspaper people not listen, those days are over with the media them I do research and
yeah.
research. Them days are over with now. Over with.
Yeah.
Me and
Yeah.
media ain't doing that kind of stuff no more.
Mm. Andrea,
Mm-hmm.
what's your take on that point about those who are tainted at present and those who were tainted in the past? Mark set out his position regarding give persons a second chance. I hear persons saying like, um, I sat the drugs business and blah blah blah. But when you check it out really and truly, a person must be able to to be what should I say? Be utility. To, what's the right word in law again? You got the retribution, and you got where they are you. What's the right word again, Michelle? They're able to rehabilitate themselves.
Rehabilitate, yeah.
Yes, and
Okay.
that is very important. Yeah.
Um. I've heard Isaac's story, right? He has spoken his story and spoke what happened with him and how it went down. And he said he spoke to his creator, and he said there has to be a reason why I'm here and why I'm going through all of this. So whatever, and he started on the road to you know making himself a better person from in prison, and whatever, because he realized what was happening, and he tells you what happened. Okay, fine. Now, someone, is it that we do not believe in rehabilitation? Someone who has been accused, as well the person committed the crime or not, but they okay, so they went to prison and they were incarcerated and they did their time for something that they were accused of. All right, fine. That is in the past. And if this person has, after that, went on a journey of being a better person, of elevating themselves mentally and economically and physically, and try to be an example, right? I don't see why the person should not be given a second chance at being who he could be. Because we lose a lot of persons because we don't get second chances. No, it's a total different thing when somebody is presently accused of something that is dishonorable, illicit, or fraudulent, and goes against any constitution. And every constitution in the world begins with we the people. Okay? Now, when we the people look at what you are doing, no, and they say, okay, you know what a policeman said? A policeman said, what Miss Dalrymple did. He said, if and what Mr. Holness is doing, they said, if we can you imagine if police not pay them think what happened to them? A man tell you what happened to him. Inspector tell you what happened with him, right? Persons tell you what happened with them when they did certain things. So they're saying, is it to Jamaica that these persons are able to get away with these things? And I mean, you have a case pending where you're accused of a crime, a felony, and yet still you are able to sit in our parliaments where the lawmakers are. No, man, that is a travesty of justice. And what they do, because I saw this act out the other day and I smiled to myself. I saw where the lawmakers in Jamaica were tabling laws, passing laws or tabling laws to cover
They're
the,
wrong.
the business acts that they committed. And I said, really? Because what happened is that Mr. Holness went away to India, and the Integrity Commission was to talk the Thursday. And by the Monday, they brought this digital review thing, so that would have put a muzzle on the Integrity Commission speaking in the Parliament the Thursday. And we laughed and we said, okay, if you're innocent, why are you trying to muzzle this? Why can't Integrity Commission come? And they couldn't speak on what was happening. They had to come in the other week or 2 weeks after and speak on something else. They couldn't speak on what they were supposed to speak to because he took out something that muzzled or silenced them. You understand?
So
And that to me, mm,
what you're alluding to then is this: the Parliament is the supreme lawmaker. The
mm-hmm,
parliamentarians are the key legislators.
mm-hmm.
They should be persons who have questionable characters, persons who are going through the process of being in the legal wranglings whereby there's questions about their integrity. They should be removed from these
Yes,
positions. I,
yes,
I
yes,
think that's fair as well. But
yes.
but what I look at when I see the different discussions going around PNP or JLP, if you're a JLP person, you're gonna say and try to justify it as much as possible. A PNP
Right.
person would say the things that is not which will seek to sort of say the right thing or whatever like that. It all depends on which side someone is on. And that is why I keep saying, who speak, Michelle, who speak for the people? Because it seemed like the parliamentarians are not speaking for the people, except for a set of persons who maybe vote for them. Who
Exactly.
speak for the
So
people? Where's that public defender? Who is the one who is articulating for the people at the same time, protecting the people from him, the government? I know it sounds a
there's
bit strange.
no
You know what I
one
mean?
in the Jamaican government that's there for that. That's how come I say both parties are crap.
Yeah.
I mean, in the beginning, the first mistake was how could the prime minister's wife be the speaker of the house? That was the first mistake, right?
Mm,
So with that going there, she can shut down anything.
yes.
Okay? And that's off balance right there.
And that's why she
That
keep
is
up.
off
Yeah.
balance.
And
I
that's why she,
don't know how the opposing party could ever let that happen. Or them vote that in.
mm, they seconded.
No, you see,
It was
did they?
it was seconded by Philip Paul. Seconded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
Yeah,
he said he. I think.
exactly.
I think. I think he gave a reason. You know, he said that he was told. Um, what was he told?
It
I
was
don't know what
convent
he said. You know,
by
But that's
convention.
bull crap.
mm, I don't know what he said. But hold on. Let me get to this.
As
Let
a
me get to this because
politician, you can't be told nothing. That is a no right
I
off the
know what
bat
he,
right
I can't
there.
remember
That's
what he said.
conflict
But
of
what he said.
interest right there.
Black Arab Cowards, but what he said, had valid, I think that, you know, it was valid, you know. What he said was valid. It's as if something was said, but not the total, in its totality. Something was said, because what he said, because I was annoyed, because I'm like that, you know. No, but I think that because I might be persuaded to prefer the devil over the deep blue sea, because or the deep blue sea over the devil, because sometimes I feel we can probably get taken in by a whale and get spit out like Jonah. So I can't get, I can't be saved, right? Fine. But um don't think I don't question everything. I question. And one of the questions, to show you how I question, because I'm in a group we call a PNP group. And I question, I said, I remember when the whole oil thing came up, and I said, okay, all of the ministers in waiting are in this group. So how is a silent on this whole oil deal thing? Wait, me talk on it. And I said, is it that you knew about it and nobody's talking? Is it that? And I kept at them, and I was at them, I rubbing them so hard in the group, right? I know a lot of people were upset, but I didn't care because that is me. So I posted something in the group, and for whatever reason, I looked back on the thing again. And as I looked back on it, oh, someone in the group, one of them answered me and said, no, it is not really like that, and so and so. And I said, okay, that doesn't sit well with me. The answer I got from one of them never sit well with me. So I look back on the thing that I had posted, one of the things, the clippings, the video clippings from the thing that was held in London at the Jamaica consulate. And within a couple of seconds, I mean, so how did I not hear this? When I
Mm,
listened to this thing before. And the gentleman said, oh, and, we are so glad to be a part of this whole thing. And, I must say thank you to the government of Jamaica. And not only the government of Jamaica, but to the political opposition, because they are an integral part of this. And I said, okay, okay. And I went back and I said, people, and I time stamp. I said, within a couple of seconds of that, listen what you hear. So I
mm,
said, oh, you all knew about it and you sanctioned it. You knew about their sanction. This is not what we were supposed to be told about. So nobody can really get me to say, as I said before, it is history that
yeah.
is making me going towards a particular party more than the other, because I really feel that one is more elitist, and one what the history of one showed where it was they were more concerned for the poor, and they were doing things more for the poor. Because I had to ask in the group, is it that there are liberals here who are leading us? I rub them really hard. I rub them really hard. So
Mm,
I'm not the yes person and jump on whatever. No, I question things, right? And who is the opposition? The opposition is the king's loyal opposition.
mm,
You understand? The king, who do we have to really help us? Because our prime minister is, through the Privy Council, is sworn to secrecy and privacy with the King of England. And his oath says that he will hold all things that for the king secret. And he will
mm.
tell him all things that
It's the
happens
Lord
here.
Chancellor. The Lord Chancellor.
Yes. So I don't know. mean, like, I don't know who speaks to us. Nobody
Yeah,
speaks to us.
that's a very valid point, and as you rightly say all the while that the people that vote in Jamaica are not the affluent, people
No.
that vote, they don't really care about that.
Mm-mm.
At the same time, but I just hope and I just trust, before we wrap up, that leading up to the 2025 general election, that people will be astute, people will be educated, and to look at the issues as much as possible. I can hear the JLP making reference to the PNP as one of the problem. They're still blaming them for certain things, but I just pray that they will focus on the issues. In the UK, we had a situation whereby the Labour Party in the UK said no taxes, no taxes, no taxes. And they just came out and started hitting taxes left, right, and center, saying that there's a 22 billion black hole, and saying
Mm-hmm.
that 14 years of Tory bad rule. But they're using it as a basis now to just hit taxes on the farmers. Came out in droves in the UK, in up to number 10 Downing Street. The taxes upon pensioners, and taxes left, right, and center.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, what you're hoping for is that government or parties, whatever they put in their manifesto, the manifesto will sort of outwork as to what it really is. Not to say that when they came into power, this is what they see and they change things, because people are totally disgruntled. I mean, in the UK, I believe that there's going to be less people going to go to the next election because they feel they want to get rid of the conservative. But Labour came in now, and Labour is letting them down as well. They don't know who, so they may be going to reform, which is Nigel Farage. In America
Mm-hmm.
now, people are what people are doing, Michelle. They're running. They are leaving America. Whoopi Goldberg and these guys, they're leaving America. Have they left America yet?
Oh, they're fools. Because every country you go, them have for them problems too.
Have they
No,
left yet?
they've been leaving for a while now, and going to Europe. They've been leaving for a while. They have
They
been leaving for a while and
And
going to
oh,
Europe. Yeah.
right where them a go, have every country have them for them problems too. So them are going to another problem.
Oh,
they
and
were,
by the way,
I will
Silborn,
run out the four. I will run out the 4 years, Silver.
yes,
and by
We're,
the way,
we're, we're
Silborn,
on the 4 years out.
yeah. Go
the
ahead.
the elections yesterday did
Mm.
not change the parliamentary ones did not change anything. These people
You're
won't get any
doggone
posts.
right.
No,
Like
it
I
didn't. No,
said,
that didn't change
different
anything.
people, same
One second,
position.
Michelle. One second, Michelle. Where Andrea? Where is Andrea? Sorry.
The two parliamentary ones with Derek Smith's son,
Yes.
Dwayne Smith, and the one with Dalrymple doesn't change anything in the parliament. Those are the parliamentarian one. Now, the one in Morant Bay, well, you know that Rosie Shaw is going to be the new mayor now. They're having a spat now down in Antown, because there's a thing that says that once there is a mayor, this not supposed to change it. Well, Mark is taking them to task because he's saying that this change is a popular vote now because of PNP won the thing yesterday, so they should come in. So that is not settled yet in terms of whether the PNP is going to get to be mayor or and the
Okay.
JLP man step down. Because one person was saying, in order for that to happen, there's a mayor already who is in place. In order for that to happen, like somebody will have to, they'll have a vote of no confidence against the standing mayor,
Yes.
and somebody leaves and go across the PNP, right?
Mm.
But Mark them are taking to task now and saying, no, we have the more popular votes, and based on that, we have more seats. So you can't be the mayor when we have that, because that should change yesterday. So they might have a tussle right now. It's not even settled yet who's going to be mayor. But the parliamentarian one doesn't change anything.
Yeah. Because I was there, and persons were saying that they don't know why why the PNP is making noise so they win when we sweep the parliament. But when I hear the word sweep the parliament, I say, really, you haven't really swept the parliament, because really and truly there was no competition to a certain
Right.
extent.
No, but
Uh,
no, the PNP didn't go there. The PNP went for what they want. They said that it was February alone that the local government happened, and local government won't happen again for a couple of years. So guess what? We're gonna do that. But we have general election in 9 months, and there was a lot of unconstitutional things being done. You know how much money was spent yesterday?
how
One
much?
point odd billion was spent by the JLP yesterday for what happened. 1 point odd
Billion,
billion.
Billion for what?
1.1 billion Jamaican dollars
For what?
was spent
For
on the campaigning yesterday, and this is
uh,
it's a long story. $1.1 billion was
and the
spent
turnout
yesterday.
and the turnout was really that poor.
Was poor, 6.2% in St. Anne
St. Thomas,
Northwestern.
in St.
Six,
Thomas.
St. Anne
Sorry,
Northwestern.
St.
No,
Andrew.
no.
Yeah,
Remember, you know, St. Thomas was just 11,000 people. You know, so the percentage would be higher based on how much was gotten. But that up in St. Andrew Northwestern was 31,000, and the person only got 1,863. So it is 6.2%
yeah.
turnout up there.
Yeah,
Right, and it's the same thing with Russian Embassy. So you spent a lot of money and going out. If you were see the amount of vehicles out yesterday, they have some video you see, but people are walking with some things. As I see there, and then when I say more trucks come, and yes, the bike, them bring bike, them bring $25,000, them bring material for this. And I say, Lord have mercy. I'm gonna put them up on my TikTok. I never get a chance because the thing is so full. A lot
yeah.
of things happened yesterday. A lot of things that were not supposed to happen happened yesterday. Like Mr. Holness tried to get onto the licensed primary property, which he was not supposed to go into while the polling was happening, and he had to be stopped by the PNP. His wife tried to get onto another property, and she was actually almost fighting the police. And
So you
they
mean
say not going in there.
yesterday before the election?
Yeah, they tried to go onto properties. She said she was going in there to buy water or
When you say
whatever, and them said no.
when you say properties, what do you mean? Properties, what do you mean?
Where the election was happening, where the voting was happening, and the counting was happening.
Okay,
She
okay,
wanted to go inside there, and she was they make a standoff for the police too, and they had
okay.
to push. And I said, why this woman, as a minister and the prime minister, why she always go around try to embarrass herself? You don't
Mm,
have to do that. Is belittling. You know, standing order 43 says you cannot go on the property while that is happening. So why would you want to be doing that? And
yeah,
both of them tried it yesterday.
mm,
That is typical behavior by leaders of this country.
yeah.
They think that they're not supposed to be stopped. Anything goes, and if they say it must happen, it must happen. That's what I don't like about them.
There's something though that I would like to do, and I will hopefully to get someone from the JLP camp to come on, and as someone alluded to on TikTok about all the promises and all the achievements of the Labour Party, and also something as to the plans and the proposals for the People's National Party as much as possible to bring some sort of level of balance, because there must be something good that the JLP has done under the Prime Minister Andrew Holness, isn't it?
Of course, they have
Yeah,
done something good. They
yeah.
have they have enriched the rich more. Fine. No, of course. No, no. The hospital is in shambles. The schools, you have schools that don't have no children to go there,
Yeah.
right? No, no, no. When you our roads are terrible. Um, we have no beaches to go on unless we pay to go on them. Um, and I'm talking, and if you don't walk with your national ID, you have to pay the US rate or the foreigners rate. That is crap. Them things are
What,
not going to Barbados and other Caribbean countries. Now, let me tell you
what about
something you
needs?
see.
What about needs? Go on, keep talking. Sorry. Yeah.
Let me tell you something you see. I'm still born. The amount of things that need to be fixed here. But when I heard the hotel, there was interviewing a hotel worker manager, supervisor, and he said, okay, can you imagine that our workers are getting, okay, US workers and other foreign workers are getting $15 an hour, and we are getting $15 for the day
Sorry, $15 per hour
per hour. The,
US.
the overseas workers are getting in the same capacity that they are, and
And
they are getting and they're not getting the US, they're getting in Jamaican currency. 15 US dollar value equivalent to Jamaican dollars per day, while the foreign persons who work in the same capacity are getting $15 an hour.
what's the
They
rate?
say that
What's the rate for the US dollar?
the US dollar is what, 160? You know what money them spend the other day if you save $1 to go up more and more to slide down the gully?
Mm,
Yes. So what's happening now? They say that, well, for Grand Bahia, they say that when people leave the hotel, they have given their uniforms, and other people have to take those uniforms and wear. And they said, no, we're not having that. We need our own uniforms, right? Um, they say that they're telling That if they're saying gratuity doesn't need to be paid or they don't have to tip, they're telling them that listen, our workers are properly paid, so they don't have to tip them. Not no go so. Not no
Mm.
go so good night. Not no go so. That is crap.
So these are
Crap.
the demonstration which are happening with Bar
It's
Principle,
not
and
happening. No, yeah, yeah.
a few hotels also had the recent
And people are coming out. The people who come for the service, they're out there demonstrating with them too. You know, them out there. Visitors are out there demonstrating with them
well,
too.
well. Listen. If you see the person that is going to feed you out there, you have to go there with them. You know. Well, listen, Michelle. Michelle, any last word? What you want to say?
Good night.
Good night.
Nice discussion tonight.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Well, well. I think one of the things I just really concerned about is that I just hope that the date for elections will be set eventually. And if Mark Golding becomes the next prime minister, that's one of the first things that he should be doing, setting that date. So therefore, like in the UK, we know that May the 6th, we know that's the election date. Unless something happened like when we had COVID and we had to go to Parliament in order to pass some sort of laws in order to change the dates. But really and truly, May the 6th, I believe, or the 5th, is election day every 4 or 5 years in the UK. And this is something whereby the prime minister don't get up and say, "What? We feel like we're ready for election now." So people can plan in advance. People can plan in
Hmm.
advance what they want to do. So therefore, if
Hmm.
people are going to travel, they don't have to say like next year, for argument's sake, when election, prime minister might call election January, could February, could March, could August, and September. Then somebody who's planning to travel and really want to vote, and they're gonna go away for a holiday for
Doesn't know when to book their flight for.
they don't know where to put the flight for.
And one more thing, Silburn,
Yeah.
and you only should be able to run 2 terms, and that's it. Not no
Oh,
three and no four
you
terms.
mean
You
like
should
you mean
be
like a prime minister, or you like an MP you're
a
talking?
prime minister. Yes, you only should be able to run 2 terms.
I
Two
think I,
terms
I would
and that's
agree with that sometime, because after a while, I think anytime after third term, boy, you feel like you're invincible. You believe
Any
you
one
had
of
God,
them. Any one of them. And if at
any one of
82
them.
years old, you are fighting to stay in politics, then you know what you're staying for.
Yes.
82, the average person has to leave by 60 pre-retirement, 50
Yes.
odd, or 65. But you are in there 82, 80 odd, and you're crying that why did you? But I mean, you can't retire the people without them knowing that we're tired anyway. I don't know that people
Well,
are
well,
doing,
well,
but
well, but some of them anyway. I mean, are they? Aren't they supposed to go, or they are being forced though? What is it?
what happened is that they announced it was made of their retirement before they were before there was a conversation held, and that's what
Yeah.
got them upset. And
Wow.
remember, Babs is also 82. You
Oh, yeah.
understand?
She need to
And there are
separate.
many people, and the whole family, the whole family politics needs to go. That when I leave, my son who didn't do politics at university, he can come in and sit because I was a standing MP for that area. So it passed off to my son. No,
Mm.
no, this
So it
needs to
become a
stop.
family thing. It become very family oriented.
Yeah, child oriented.
High level of nepotism.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, there's a thing going around for I'm calling it security guard to
Mm,
for the hotel industry. Somebody wants them to work in the car areas and collect what the people are paying to park and
mm,
make sure that they're parked where they're supposed to park and walk around and check the thing. And you're
yeah.
supposed to have a university degree in tourism and management.
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say are you crazy. Are they're
It's a it's
crazy.
a it's a ad being put out and run. Or they want it, but you have to have a university degree, tourism management,
Oh my goodness.
to do a
Wow.
security guard job.
Wow.
One
Wow.
one one hotel is telling the workers that okay, a part of the agreement is you go on staff after 10 years. You can imagine.
Well, listen. On that note, let's hope it doesn't start till 10 years. Yeah. Well, Michelle and Andrew, I want to thank you so much for short notice for coming on and give us some
Yeah,
reaction
man. Yeah,
on this
man.
election. And
No
Michelle,
problem.
Michelle, what's happening with Trump? You okay with Trump? Trump's is all sorted.
I'm going
Everything
along with the
relaxed.
flow.
Everything relaxed over there now. You guys settled down. You
That's
guys
it. That's it. I don't know about nobody else. I'm okay.
settled.
I'm
Yeah.
all right.
One thing about Trump, my prediction: Trump will not be sworn in. The people he has around him are radicals. They will not. They have not forgiven Trump for the insurrection, and he plans to go in and release a few of the persons who were there from prison.
Yeah.
And yeah, and he's not forgiven for the 34 felonies that he has. Don't think them forgive him. And
Yeah.
all of what him saying going do, him can't do it, him can't stop whatever the agendas that the untouchables have. So me not think him not gonna be sworn in.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes.
That's
All right.
right. Different people, different position.
Yes. Yes.
I,
All right.
I mean, different, same position. Different
Yeah.
people, same position.
Yeah.
And a damn
Oh,
room, really. That's
all
it.
right.
Good night.
Good
You know
night.
what
Take
I always
care.
said though? No, but 1 minute before you go, 1 minute. You know what I always said? I always used to watch Mr. Musk, Elon Musk, coming over the years, and I say this man has something to play in American politics.
Yeah.
And in politics, trust me, he has some role to play in there. And see, in squeezing now, don't be
Mm.
surprised. Thank
Yeah.
you for having
Thank
me.
you. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Have a good night.
and
Thank you.
my co-guest
Awesome.
tonight coming on. All
Thank
right.
you. Bye bye, Michelle. Bye
Good
bye.
night. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Bye. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight. Talking Sip Saturday night. The discussion we had really was very interesting. Talking about the whole election review of the recent election in Jamaica, and just hoping somehow, with the lack of turning out of people to vote in the election, the turnout was really poor, totally poor. 6.2%, 37%. That's how the people coming out to vote for election. People need to get excited. How can people get excited? One of the things that we're looking at is people feeling like who speak for them? Who's speaking for the people? Because the parliamentarians, they are speaking for themselves, you know what I mean? And so like that, they are taking care of themselves. But who is speaking for the people as much as possible? Well, we're going to leave it there. And I want to wish you a very good night. I want to thank those who joined on TikTok, and for the contribution from my friend over there. Persons on Facebook, those on YouTube, and those on Instagram. Remember to like and subscribe. And thank you so much for having a good night and being a good sport. Okay? Thank you very much. Peace out. Bye-bye.